Hello, my name's Kerry and welcome to another episode of Beard and Mixology. So today I am venturing into the unknown. Not only am I making a cocktail I've never tried before, I'm even using a couple of ingredients I've never used before. And I'm going to be making an old fashioned. So the old fashioned, as the name suggests, it is an old fashioned cocktail. Based on the earliest incarnations of what a cocktail was. Basically a spirit, sugar, bitters and water. So there's a lot of history behind the old fashioned, a lot of it's debated, where it came from, who invented it, etc. I'm not certain on most of these facts, so I do apologise if I've got it wrong. But it's my understanding that it came about in the late 1800s when somebody somewhere in America had asked a bartender for a cocktail served in the old fashioned way. So like I said before, the earliest versions of the cocktail as we know it was water, sugar, bitters and alcohol. When more exotic, more luxurious spirits became available, bartenders started to get a little bit excited, chucking everything together, creating new cocktails. And somebody somewhere has said, I would like a cocktail served in the old fashioned way. Hence the birth of the old fashioned. Now, as far as I'm aware, the old fashioned seemed to have gone out of fashion for some time. It's a cocktail that I've only heard about in the last couple of years. Why it was out of fashion, I don't know. The 80s, vodka seemed to be the spirit of choice. We had this massive gin revolution for the last 10 years. Rum seems to be as popular as ever. Just recently, though, there does seem to be a resurgence in the popularity of the old fashioned. Whether this is because it's appeared in various TV shows or been seen in the hands of famous people, I don't know. But it does seem to be quite a popular drink at the moment. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, this is new territory for me because of new ingredients that I'm using. And one of those ingredients is whiskey. I've never been a big whiskey drinker. Maybe that's because I've only drank it in shots and it's put me off a little bit. But the old fashioned is a whiskey based cocktail. Now, there's an argument whether it's bourbon whiskey or rye. I wanted to get rye for some reason, but it seems harder to get rye than it does bourbon. Especially where I live, in the supermarkets, rye whiskey is very hard to come by, and it's more expensive. So I didn't want to drop a load of money on something that I might not like I did with the Campari. But I've been assured by a good friend who does know his old fashions that Maker's Mark, which is bourbon whiskey, Kentucky, is a decent choice and a good whiskey for making the old fashioned. Now, the other new ingredient to me is bitters. I've gone for Angostura bitters. Seems like the industry standard, readily available in all supermarkets. Now, I've heard of it described as a condiment for drinks. So you add it to your own personal taste. A bit like vinegar on your fish and chips. Basically, it's just alcohol flavoured with various spices. Now, giving it a bit of a sniff, that to me smells Christmassy. As in cloves, spices, nutmeg. Basically your Christmas pudding spices. So, and it's been by appointment of Her Majesty the Queen as well, so it must be good. So we'll stick it in, give it a try, see what we think of it. So let's make an old fashioned. The first ingredient is a sugar cube, a Demerara sugar cube. Now you can use simple syrup, it's supposed to mix in easier, but I imagine that originally, all them years ago, a sugar cube would have been used. So that's what we're going with. So to the sugar cube we're going to add a few dashes of the bitters. About 4, but like I say, it's to your own personal taste. And next up, a little tiny drop of soda water. Now this, some recipes say you don't need to add the water, some say you do. Basically, what you're trying to do, you get your muddling stick and you're trying to break the sugar cube down and turn it into a paste. This is where using simple syrup would probably be easier, as you don't need to do this step, and if you're making the drink quickly, it's easier. But This seems like it's got a bit more love in it. So there we go. Now that that's all muddled together and we've got a nice paste, we're going to put the whiskey in. And that is 2 ounces, 60 millilitres of whiskey. And last but not least, 2 large chunks of ice. This is to help control the dilution while you're chilling it down. And that's it really. All there is to do now is to give it a stir until you reach the right level of dilution. And to finish the old fashioned, we just get a piece of orange rind, squeeze it like this over the top because it expresses oils out of the skin. You give it a rub around the rim of your glass, plop that in. You could use a maraschino cherry as well. I'm not going to bother today because I want the basic flavour of this drink to see what it's like. So there you have it. That is your old fashioned. Now it doesn't look like much, but you wouldn't normally serve it in a glass that big. It's just what I've got. Normally you would serve it in a rocks glass or an old fashioned glass. So before I give it a try, I'll just say that the aroma coming from it is really strong. Those bitters, those Christmas spice smells that I described earlier are really evident and it's really appealing. So I'll give it a taste. Yeah, that's tasty, that's nice. The fear of the bourbon, that's gone. The memories of Jack Daniel's hangovers, distant memory. I imagine that's a drink that evolves over time. Given that it'll dilute a bit more and there might be some sugar at the bottom that's not fully dissolved. As you go down, it'll get a bit sweeter probably. That is a very nice drink. Strong, very strong. Flavour wise, I like the bit of orange in, and from somewhere, I don't know if it's the whiskey, but from somewhere there's vanilla coming, like really strong vanilla flavour coming from it, and that makes it really, really tasty. So, the old fashioned, big success. So, thanks for watching. The first step into the world of whiskey has been a successful one. More whiskey based cocktails coming in the future now that we know we're not frightened of whiskey anymore. If you have a preferred recipe for this drink or tips on how to make it better, please let me know. I'm always willing to learn. But if you've enjoyed the episode, click like, subscribe and the bell icon. Also, tune into the Instagram page, Beard and Mixology. And until next time, stay safe and I'll see you all again. Thanks for watching.